welcome to ITV News Anglia. Here's a look at tonight's main stories. Leading the fight against long COVID, how doctors here hope existing drugs can stop more patients dying months after they catch the virus.
We cannot tolerate a situation where people are dying and coming back into hospital in those kind of numbers without attempting to do something about it urgently.
Also tonight, the bee-friendly corridors transforming our countryside, how you can do your bit to help boost insect numbers as well. Dig this, the Sutton Hoo helmet as you've never seen it before, thanks to the father and daughter who've recreated it in 1,000 pieces of Lego.
And there's a shock to the system coming for tomorrow with wetter and windier weather, but something a touch warmer as we start next week. Full details later in the programme.
Good evening, and a slightly shorter programme this evening due to the international football that follows. First, though, how our region is playing a key role in the fight against long COVID. New data suggests that 29% of patients hospitalised with the virus are readmitted within 6 months, and 12%, that's around 1 in 10, die within that period. Well, now a trial led by doctors in Cambridge aims to use existing drugs to help people recover. Rob Setchell has this.
Mark survived 2 weeks on a ventilator. Leaving hospital, he hoped his battle with the virus was won.
To be here is absolutely wonderful.
But more than a month later, back home in Streatham, near Ely, he's still dealing with COVID's consequences.
Shortness of breath. If I just go out, mow the lawn, take the dog for a walk, I'll probably get to the end of the roadway and start panting. You just want to get back. You just want to get back to normal, how you were before.
Many are in the same pain. The data suggests that 1 in 10 hospitalised with COVID die within 6 months of being discharged, while 3 in 10 have to be readmitted. Dr. Charlotte Summers wants to change those numbers. She's leading a new trial called Heal COVID, spearheaded by Adam Brooks and the University of Cambridge.
We cannot tolerate a situation where people are dying and coming back into hospital in those kind of numbers without attempting to do something about it urgently. We set up Heal COVID to try and address exactly this problem.
Researchers hope 2 cheap, widely available drugs might hold the key: a blood thinner and a statin. They'll be tested on patients leaving hospital to see if they reduce common long COVID problems, things like blood clots and inflamed lungs.
Some of these symptoms that patients have, they just don't stop when they leave the hospital. You know, the disease isn't cured, it isn't finished. And we hope to clarify over the next year or two whether or not some of the longer term complications can be impacted by early treatment.
All COVID patients will now be able to sign up for the trial when they're discharged. Mark and many others hope it might be a turning point, another weapon in the armoury against COVID, another way to save lives. Rob Setchell, ITV News.
Well, more than 80% of the region's over 50s have now had their first coronavirus injection. The regional total is now nearly 3 million jabs given. That's close to 60% of all adults. Now, the regional infection rate is 46.3 cases per 100,000, with Ipswich the highest in the region with 71 cases per 100,000. The number of patients being treated in hospitals in the east, well, that is now below 400, and that's for the first time since October. We've got more details on our website for you right now. Meanwhile, in a bid to keep the number of COVID cases heading downward, health chiefs in Norfolk have urged the over 50s to get vaccinated. There's a major push this weekend to ensure those in the priority groups for the jab who have not yet received one book an appointment. It's hoped those who have yet to receive a first dose will come forward by the end of this month. Now, people in Suffolk are being asked to give their views on plans to build a new £500 million staycation resort near Ipswich. The Valley Ridge project in Great Blakenham would replace the Snowasis proposal, which was first put forward 2 decades ago. It would include an indoor ski slope and water park as well. The insurance firm Aviva has announced that it will be closing one of its offices in Norwich as part of a shift towards more flexible working. Around 1,500 staff members of their broader business Parkside will be relocated to offices in Surrey Street. The move has been welcomed by the council, who say the decision is vital to the city's recovery as lockdown restrictions start. gas prices are continuing to rise in the region despite the pandemic. In the year to last September, the average property price in the east of England, that was £343,000, and that an annual increase of 2.2%. But prices there actually fell in some areas like Malden, Chelmsford and Broadland. If you do want to see the details where you live currently, that is also on our website too. Now, there was a happy ending for a deer who was found tangled in some electric fencing in Woodbridge. The fallow buck was spotted by a member of the public who called the RSPCA. Well, it took staff 40 minutes to cut through the fencing, but as you can see, delighted to say they did eventually manage to set him free to carry on with his day. Now then, transport stories are always making the news here at ITV News Anglia. However, this next one is a little different. It involves 17,000 kilometres of crisscrossing bee lines, and as the name suggests, will provide a super highway to help bees, butterflies and other struggling pollinators to survive a loss of habitat and climate change as well. Natalie Gray went to South Norfolk to see it in action.
A queen bumblebee feeds on the flowers of the blackthorn, but pollinators are struggling. Since 1940, 97% of flower-rich meadows have been lost.
Pollinators are finding themselves in isolated oases, walled in by agricultural land, urban landscapes, roads and gardens.
Here they're creating a new 17-kilometre insect pathway along the River Chet in South Norfolk. It'll join up with BugLife's national network of bee lines of wildlife-rich habitats across the whole of the UK. Professor Anthony Davey is Emeritus Professor of Ecology at the University of East Anglia and Chair of the Burr Upton Conservation Trust.
Pollinators are on a downward trend globally, and if they're not able to get pollen and nectar, and if they're not able to get food from their larval stages, we are going to lose them fairly rapidly over the next few decades or century.
Without safe routes to move north in search of cooler climes, there's a warning that some insect populations will be trapped in regions where they just can't survive.
We know that our pollinators are in decline, like so much of our wildlife, and the only way to change this is to make ambitious commitments to putting wildflowers back into the countryside, and to do it at a big scale.
And it seems here in South Norfolk, just about everyone is keen to help.
Two of the doctor's surgeries, both the ones in Croydon, were already interested in growing wildflowers for this very reason, and the London surgeries also joined in.
And you can help too, by planting some wildflowers and mowing the lawn less often. Natalie Gray, ITV News.
Right, sport for you now, maybe the international break for Norwich City, but the workload doesn't stop for some of their top stars. Three of them, including Max Aarons, were on duty for England under-21s this afternoon. He started alongside Oliver Skipp. Their UEFA Championship qualifier against Switzerland took place in Slovenia. That was due to COVID rules, but their afternoon ended in a 1-0 defeat, conceding a late goal. Not great. It was an uncomfortable night for Norwich goalkeeper Tim Krul with Holland as well. Krul, he was beaten 4 times as Holland lost 4-2 to Turkey in their World Cup qualifier. He conceded that many over Norwich's last 10 championship matches. Meanwhile, it was business as usual for City striker Team Midfield. Of course it was. He scored both of Finland's goals as they drew 2-2 with Bosnia-Herzegovina. And Canaries winger Onel Hernandez made his debut in Cuba in the early hours of the morning, although he very nearly missed the game altogether. His journey to Guatemala was interrupted by an ash cloud, which meant planes were grounded in Mexico. Hernandez arrived just before half-time and came on as a sub. Now then, lockdown may have driven us to take on new hobbies and challenges, but what about rebuilding a 7th century Anglo-Saxon helmet out of Lego? Well, that's exactly what an Essex father and daughter duo have been up to. They spent the last few weeks carefully constructing the Sutton Hoo helmet, and now they can have their to be sold as a toy worldwide. Charlie Frost has this.
An ancient helmet found in pieces in the ground in Suffolk, reconstructed in the 1970s. Then a replica forged in silver and gold by the Royal Armouries. And now a third face to the Sutton Hoo helmet, a Lego one, made by a dad and daughter duo in Essex.
I just remember just clipping that last piece in and just going, yes! I'm finished!
Their shared love of the square stuff has seen them build everything from castles to spaceships in the past, but recreating this 7th century helmet has been their toughest build yet.
He took to building things up, and then the next day he'd come back and he'd be like,
I'm taking it all to bits.
he'd ripped it all up, and then he'd sort of slump around being grumpy, and then have a brand new idea, and then we'd come back in, and then he'd build it, and then it would just repeat, but we finally got there.
The pair were inspired by recent Netflix film The Dig, which tells the story of the discovery of the Anglo-Saxon burial site in 1939. When the original helmet was unearthed, it was in hundreds of fragments, which took a British museum conservator a year to put together. But with lockdown boredom taking hold, their 1,000-piece version only took Andrew and Matilda a few weeks.
Now, as Matilda is about to model here, you can actually wear the helmet because size-wise, it's almost an exact replica of the real thing. So you can actually get it inside the head of an Anglo-Saxon king. How are you doing in there, Matilda? It's slightly tight, if I'm honest, but...
The build has been submitted to LEGO Ideas, where fans post their creations and the public vote for them. If it can get 10,000 votes, LEGO will consider mass producing it so others can build their own.
It would be really amazing. I would love that.
Yeah, maybe we should build a boat as well. We should keep going.
Just a huge life-size boat.
A piece of ancient history that we all may be able to have a go at rebuilding. Charlie Frost, ITV News in Saffron Walden in Essex.
Fantastic stuff. And if Andrew and Matilda are thinking about doing some building tomorrow, they better do it indoors.
Yeah, indoors is probably the best thing. We'll get to tomorrow just in a sec. I want to show you what we've seen across the region today. Some lovely spells of sunshine. There has been a few pesky showers, just these convergence line showers moving in from the south and west there, as you can see. But either side of the showers, there's been some lovely spells of sunshine. Gorgeous blue skies across much of the region through today. And I'll just end with this one. Very good forecast. Things are set to change though in the next 24 hours.
Greater Anglia sponsors ITV Anglia Weather.
So today there's been a lot of sunshine across much of the region. A gorgeous start first thing this morning. Some lovely photos sent in from our viewers earlier on today. And even this afternoon we've still seen some sunny spells, although there have been a few scattered showers. The showers will clear through tonight, and it's a change of the story as we go overnight into tomorrow. This very active cold front will spin its way in from the west, driving in very strong winds and some squally weather fronts, and that will bring some outbreaks of rain too. So through this evening we say goodbye to the showers. There will be a few clear spells overnight. We'll start to see the breeze beginning to strengthen by dawn tomorrow morning, driving in a few more showers from the south and the west. Again, some of those could be on the heavy side, but with the winds, temperatures holding up between 7 and 8 degrees. It's tomorrow that we start with a few showers during the morning, and then rapidly as we go to the afternoon our weather goes more downhill. That narrow band of rain bringing some squally winds by the afternoon glides its way in from the west, introducing some fresher conditions and very gusty, gusts around 25 and 40 miles an hour at times towards the coast, shown by those black wind gust arrows there. Now here times of high water, looking at Clacton there at 6 minutes past 10 tomorrow morning and 23 minutes past 10 tomorrow evening. As we go towards Saturday, well, it's another day of a few sunny spells. This weather front has cleared. There'll be a few scattered showers into the afternoon, but I think for most of us on Saturday, staying largely dry. Still a breezy feeling day, and top temperatures maybe 10 or 11 degrees Celsius, 52 Fahrenheit, but it will feel a touch cooler than that in the wind. For Sunday, a touch more cloud, but all of us are drawing our eyes, as you can see, probably to Tuesday, where temperatures look to rise as we go into the high teens, possibly even low 20s, so feeling a touch milder. Football. Take care.
Greater Anglia sponsors ITV Anglia Weather.
And that is it for now. You can join me for the late bulletin after the news at 10, but for now, from the whole team here, thanks for watching. Goodbye.